Hey everybody, thanks for joining me and welcome back for another product introduction and how-to. We are introducing our newest collection called Nature Lover, and part of that collection is a really pretty Boxwood Heart wreath. And so I'm going to be introducing the dies for that today, and we'll be putting together this cute heart-shaped wreath card. So let's get started. First of all, there are a couple of different dies included with the Boxwood Heart wreath, and they are sold individually. There is the Boxwood Heart base. This die also coordinates with our Love Is set, which is a stamped version of the Boxwood Heart wreath. So that die is available separately apart from the details. So there's a couple different options there. You can use the base die with the stamp set, or you can pair it with the Boxwood Heart details die. So I will be using the dies today, not the stamps, and we're going to assemble this cute heart-shaped wreath card. So to start off, I'm going to be using the outer die line from the Boxwood Heart base. There's two dies and they come wired together like this, and so you can snip those apart to use them individually so that you can create both inward cut and the outward cut separately, or of course together to create the whole wreath. Included with this die is a little template which will help you position the dies back together in the right spot if you choose to snip them apart, which you're probably going to want to do because it gives you so many more options that way. So we're going to be starting off with just using the outer cut from that die. I have a panel of cardstock here which is scored and folded. This is a little bit lighter weight cardstock than I normally use, just because we're going to be folding it and cutting through the fold through both of those layers to create our shaped note card base. So I'm going to be positioning this die so that the very top of the heart die lines are extended beyond that fold, so that when we run it through the machine, the top will stay intact. So I'm going to secure that with a little washi tape and run that through my die cut machine. So I'm back and I have that die cut, so we can pull that out, and now you can see, since we positioned that on the fold, we have a shaped note card. So now I'm going to cut the wreath, and I'm going to be using both dies from the Boxwood Heart base. And so I'm going to use this template that's included with the die to reposition those. I'm going to drop the center in there, and you'll feel it catch on the edge of the die, on the blade edge. And so I'm going to just drop those into place and then take some washi tape and secure that in place so it stays in position, and then I know that everything is going to line up with either the stamps, if I choose to use it with the stamp set, or use it with the dies like we're going to be using today. So I'll go ahead and take that template out of there and run that through my die cut machine and cut a heart wreath base. Alright, I'm back, and that is die cut, and we have this cute heart wreath that's going to be the base for adding our details. So I have also die cut the Boxwood Heart details from white cardstock. You can see I left all of those die cuts nested inside the negative cutout portion of the cardstock. It's just going to make it a little bit easier to ink everything up. We're going to be adding some color using some Distress Oxide inks and our blending brushes, and they're easier to work with if you leave them nested in that outer cut. I also have them attached to a sticky mat. If you've watched my videos at all in the past, you know I love to use sticky mats from Cricut machines for all sorts of things, one of which is to keep things in place while I'm inking them. So I have it on my mat, and I'm just going to use my blending brushes to add lots of color to these little vine pieces that we will use to assemble our wreath. So our pieces are all inked, and you can see I also have removed them from the negative portion of the die cut, and I have them laid out in order here. The Boxwood Heart detail die is numbered, so if you look at your die, each of the pieces has a little tab that has a number on it. That's not part of the design, it's actually just to help you identify the different pieces and where they go. So the Boxwood Heart detail die also comes with a guide, and this is a numbered guide. It shows you where all of those different numbered pieces go. So it's almost like a die cut by number. So we're going to start out, I have them laid out in order, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way through 8. There's 8 different pieces. So we can go ahead and assemble. So we're going to start with number 1. And note with number 1, there are a couple spots you want to be careful that you don't put adhesive beyond those spots, and it's marked on the guide. So because when we add subsequent layers, we're going to sneak some pieces underneath those. So it ends up being just this really pretty layered look. So don't add adhesive beyond this point right here on this side, or beyond this point right here on this side. So we're going to add here this portion, leaving those ends free so that we can slip some layers underneath there as we continue on. So I'm going to start by adhering number 1, and I'm really just going to try to keep the adhesive to the center vine portion of the details, and that way I can bend the leaves upward and outward and create some dimension. So this is piece number 1, and you will see that the base die is kind of like an outline, so it's going to help you get everything in position where it needs to be. There's a little bit of outline or a shadow area beyond the detail dies, and so you can just drop everything into place. So then I'll move on and I'll do number 2. And this one goes at the point of the wreath, and that edge kind of tucks under that bottom leaf of number 1 on this side as well. So then we can continue on building the wreath, and we're actually going to start piece number 3 goes down here, and then we kind of work our way up this side of the wreath. So piece number 3, and I'm just going to add adhesive kind of to the end of that piece so that those bottom leaves stay unadhered and really just kind of give nice dimension. Piece number 4, this one slips underneath piece number 1, so where we wanted to make sure we didn't adhere this piece down any further beyond this leaf, this is why. We need to be able to slip this one under there. And then the next one goes up here. And you can just follow your guide and follow the numbers. So this side is finished. Now we're going to go to the other side, and again, same thing. We're going to start at the point and work our way upward. This piece gets slipped under the end of the very first piece of number 1, which is why we didn't want adhesive all the way down to the bottom. This one layers over the top. And again, just use the base as kind of a guide as well. And then our last piece. The end of this stem gets tucked under the leaf up at the top. And there you have it. Then you can go ahead and just kind of bend those leaves and add some dimension to the whole thing if you want. Really creates a pretty layered look. So now that our wreath is assembled and finished, I'm going to adhere that to our shaped card base that we die cut when we first started. And I think this would make a really pretty wedding card. So I'm going to stamp a sentiment in the center. This is from Love Song Sentiments. It's another new set we're releasing. It's a little $7 mini sentiment set based on Song of Songs. And there's just some pretty sentiments in there. So we'll go ahead and stamp that in the center, and we're all finished. Thanks for joining me, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this look and little how-to on our new Boxwood Heart base and detail dies.